Hello everyone, welcome to PUC Online Classroom. Today we are moving on to activity number 8, which is in unit 13. Alright, she's driving me crazy, or she's making me crazy. Alright, so let's take a look at the activity altogether. That is the listening activity, but of course we can do without. So A, listen to three friends talk to one another on the phone. Check the response you think is best for each person's problem. So you can just come up with different ideas, doesn't matter. Well, let's begin with the first one. Hi Molly, Ramona's mad. Ramona is mad um, because she thinks I didn't ask her to go hiking with us. I sent her for emails, but she never responded. And then Molly said, well, you know Ramona never answers emails. You should have called her on the phone. Alright, that is one idea. And another, oh, forget it. I wouldn't have sent so many messages. If Ramona can't bother to check her email, she just miss out on things. So which one is the best for you? You can figure it out, alright? It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's move on to the second. Ramona, hi. I just got off the phone with Mishi. She asked me for advice, but she never stops talking long enough to listen. Alright, maybe something like this happened to you. Alright, keep talking. And Ramona, you could have been more understanding. She must have been upset and just needed to talk. Another, I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute. How can you give her advice if she doesn't give you a chance to talk? Okay, so which one is the best one? You can pick up uh, the answers. All right, and last suggestion, Michi, I can't believe that Molly has still has my notes. I needed them for a test today. She never returns things. Michi said, Molly shouldn't have kept your notes this long, but I wouldn't have lent them to her the week before test. And last one is, oh, Molly may have just forgotten about them. I would have just borrow someone else's notes. Okay, so you might pick up one that you think is the best. All right, so you see that these are the problems. So these are the giving solution or the suggestion for the problem. Okay, and of course they come up with a lot of past models right here. Okay, so we have model for certainty like the previous lesson. All right, as you can see right here, they have something like this one. Let me check. No, they use past modal with should, and this one with would. And there will be the explanation for this too, don't worry. And yeah, this is about could have been more understanding. It's about giving the suggestion as well. That is also the new grammar point. I would have asked, this is also new as well. Okay, so let me move on to next. Okay, so these are about the suggestions and giving ideas, all right, for the suggestion. So let's get it started with the right grammar point that we are going to talk about today. All right, so today the grammar point is past modals, but not for degrees of certainty. Okay, it's about judgments and suggestions. You know, judgment, right? You know, suggestions. It's about giving the ideas. Judge. You know, you evaluate. Okay, someone. You inspect someone. So right here we have judging past actions, suggesting alternative past actions. So again, everybody, this is about the past action, and we try to give the suggestion in the past, or we try to judge in the past. All right. So let me explain how we use all of them together. If you take a look at the forms, should have, could have, would have, and then verb three, right? So past modal, the forms are the same, not different. So the difference is only the models that we use, but each model is used, you know, differently because of the situation. All right. Sometimes it's about possibility, sometimes it's about giving suggestion or giving ideas or opinion. So in this case, it's about giving suggestion and opinion, right? So let me clarify with the word judging past action. So you might come up with a suggestion, and this one just suggesting alternative past action. It's just like giving ideas. All right, giving ideas, and this one is about suggestion about of the situation. Okay, we'll take a look at the example altogether. You should have called her on the phone. She shouldn't have kept your note this long. So let me talk about this part first. Later, we've come up with this too. So should have called, which is about giving suggestion. Okay, you should have called. Actually, that person didn't call. You see that? It's about giving suggestion. So for example, you're supposed to call someone, but you didn't. And then finally, okay, just say you someone borrow your, let's say, your book. All right, borrow your book yesterday, and then after class you didn't ask. All right, you didn't ask him or her, the book back. So it is some kind of suggestion from another friend. So because of not having the book, that's why you could not review the lesson, all right, for the exam tomorrow, right? So someone, or maybe your friend, can say, oh, you should not have uh, let her lend, all right, sorry, you should not have let her borrow your book, just an example. Or you shouldn't have lend her or lend him the book. All right, so this is about giving suggestion. And another one, she shouldn't have kept your notes this long. It's just like a certain situation in the past that person kept your note so long, right? And she shouldn't. It's just like giving suggestion. She should not have done that. Just an example, all right? So this is about giving suggestion. And uh, let's take a look at the example one more time. One more example, the same thing right here. Let's say, forget about the example right here, but I will pick up the same example. Forget about this three, all right, because these are the yesterday grammar point. So you can forget about this. So let's begin with this one. Okay, so this is a situation, right? It's the same situation. Your friend was absent yesterday, all right? Then what happened? So there was a quiz, and he got 0. Okay, so if you take a look at this, you need to find out the reason. All right, so your friend was absent is the reason. That's why he got 0. Okay, so B is a friend of A, try to give the suggestion. So he should have been, okay, she shouldn't have, sorry, if the situation right here positive, then you can use a negative. So you can say she shouldn't have been absent, all right, yesterday. Okay, or maybe you can say he should have been present if you don't want to use a negative. Yes, all right. So as you can see right here, the easy way is to change. If this one is positive, then that is negative. If this one is negative, then you have to change it to positive. All right, so it's like giving the suggestion. So he shouldn't have been absent yesterday, but what happened? He was absent yesterday, and then he got 0 because there was a quiz, right? So that is a suggestion in the past. Okay, so I hope that you understand this one. So I will go back to the example right here once again. So let's move on to suggesting alternative past action, or just like giving opinions or giving ideas about the past actions. Okay, you could have been more understanding. I would have lent them to her. So if you say you could have been more understanding, it's like something happened in the past, something wrong happened in the past, and then you should, it's just like, that person, all right, you could have been more understanding. It's just like You should know the situation, all right? But this one is about giving the idea, okay? So just like, oh, don't worry, forget it. You could have more understanding about the situation, okay? If you take a look at the example right here, let's go back to the example. Where can we get this? You could have more understanding. Um, where should be the answer? All right, right here. You see that, Ramona, hi, I just got off. You just finished talking with Mishi. She asked me for advice, but she never stops talking. Yeah. So when you say you could have been more understanding, it's just like um, you should have known about the problem, but actually, as you can see right here, Mishi was having a problem, but she could not stop, talking, and she would like to get advice, but she doesn't let anybody, or she didn't let anybody, talk. So she just kept talking. All right. And if somebody said you could have been more understanding, just like giving the idea about the situation, how she felt at that time. That's why she could not stop talking. All right. So this is about giving the ideas. And I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute. Hopefully, there is another situation. I wouldn't have lent them to her. Okay. Or if you go back to this situation, let me continue with the story. Another idea is I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute. It's just like, who is I right here? You need to question yourself, okay? So when you say Ramona is talking, you could have been more understanding. It's about giving the ideas to Molly, all right? And you here is Molly, okay? So this is about way of giving the idea, okay, to Molly. Then you can come up with could have. But when you say I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute, who is I? You need to ask yourself. Is it Molly? Is it Michi? Or is it Ramona? So the answer is Ramona. So Ramona said, I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute. So what? So was Ramona talking to Michi, or Molly was talking to Michi? So the answer is Michi was talking, or Molly was talking to each other, not Ramona. But how come Ramona would, give the idea with the subject I right here? So the idea is about, uh, you know, Ramona tried to put Molly, all right, situation to her own situation, all right. So she tried to put herself into Molly's shoes in order to give the idea. So this is about the mixed conditional. Actually, the right one is Ramona. Ramona said, if I were Molly, just like if I were you, Molly, I would have asked Michi to be quiet for a minute. You see that? So this is not about Ramona's problem. It's about Molly because she was talking to Michi, right? And Ramona uses the subject. I just want to give the opinion or the idea. How she tried to put herself into Molly's situation at that time while she was talking to Michi, right? And if I were you, Molly, it's just like that, okay? But you don't happen to see if I were you or if I were Molly, okay? But remember, whenever you see the subject I, it means that the person, him or herself, try to put him or herself into someone's situation in order to give the opinion. All right. So if you go back to this example, I wouldn't have lent them to her. So it's just like if I were you, I wouldn't have lent them to her. But actually, this person, okay, was not that person. All right, and he or she would not have lent. All right, if but this one I wouldn't have lent. But actually, this person tried to put him or herself into someone's situation in order to give the opinion. All right, hopefully you don't get lost with this. Okay, if you have questions, ask one more time. All right, so let's go to the exercise and I will explain with the answers why it is like that. Okay, first one, I invited my boyfriend over to meet my parents, but he arrived wearing torn jeans. Okay, he looked so messy. Well, he Think about that. So he could have dressed. It's about giving the opinion. All right, giving the opinion. It's not about suggestion to him, but it's about giving opinion to him in terms of wearing. Okay, so how can you wear something like toned jeans to your, you know, boyfriend or girlfriend's parents, right? So that is not right. So the answer is could have dressed neatly. And then I sees that. So this is not about B's problem, it's about A's problem. And then when B say I, it means that B tried to put him or herself into A's situation. So you have to say I would what? Have asked. Okay, I would have asked him to wear something nicer if I were you, A. Okay. 2. John borrowed my car and dented it. When he returned it, he didn't even say anything about it. So he should have told you. It's about giving suggestion, right? And it's not about giving the, you can say giving the idea. He could have told you, but that should be the suggestion because something is serious, right? Well, I see I here, so I is B right here, and but it's not B's problem. So you can say I wouldn't have lent. Okay, I wouldn't have lent. Number 3, I'm exhausted. Mary came over and stayed until 2 a.m. She, okay, so you can say she what? She shouldn't have stayed so late. All right, this is about suggestion, and you, this is about giving the ideas. All right, not about suggestion. You could have started joining to give him, oh sorry, to give her a hint. All right, so as you can see, maybe she would have gotten the hint. All right, because of joining at 2 a.m. in the morning. Imagine someone came to your house and talked to you until 2 a.m. in the morning, and then think about that. All right, and then this is the reason joining can be the hint. All right, to let that person know that you were sleepy. Okay, you want to sleep. Okay. So once again, that should be she should have, sorry, she shouldn't have stayed, and then another one she could have, sorry, you could have started joining, or you can say she should have, you should have started joining, also fine. I think right here you can say idea or suggestion, so you can come up with should or could, also possible. All right, so you can say you could have started, or you can say you should have started. Okay. Last one, Tom invited me to a play, but I ended up paying for us both. So he invited, but you pay, all right? And B, I, you see that? So if B were A, so I would not have paid. If I were you A, I would not have paid for him, okay? Then he shouldn't have invited you if he didn't have enough money. Okay. All right, so that's it for this exercise. And if you have question about the ground point, leave me the question in our Telegram group chat. All right. So let's go on to the next activity, number 10, and reactions. So reaction right here, can you guess? It's about the way you react to a certain situation. Okay, so we have reaction and examples. So you need to find the examples to match with the reaction right here. Assumption, assume. Okay, it's like to make assumption, to make a. It's just like suppose, right? You're not clear. You try to give the assumption. Okay, assume, suppose, things like this. Criticism is like giving a negative idea feedback over somebody or over something. All right, a demand, need, an excuse. This is like sorry. Okay, prediction, you know, that. Suggestion, suspicion is like maybe you feel doubt on a certain person. Okay, uh, maybe he committed or she committed a crime. Okay, warning, you know that. Okay, so A, if you do it again, you'll have to find a new girlfriend. That you were out with another woman. You can be so inconsiderate. So inconsiderate right here, just like you just let me give you an example which is easier to give the definition. It's like you go to someone's house, or maybe you go to your friend's bedroom. All right, if you are inconsiderate, you just keep going to his bedroom or her own bedroom and touch her items, you know, touch everything, okay, without asking for permission. So that is inconsiderate. All right, and that is the opposite of considerate. So when you are considerate, it's just like, what you have to do before you do something, you need to ask for permission. Just an example, can I take a look at the book, things like this. And they said, oh, you can take it. Oh, it's fine, that's okay, things like this. So inconsiderate is the opposite. It's like you don't really care about the other at all. So you just feel like, oh, that belongs to you. All right. So because sometimes we happen to see about that person who um, doesn't care about others' feeling or need. All right. They feel like, oh, this is yours, that is mine, so I don't care about the other people. All right. So that is inconsiderate, or you can say thoughtless. Okay. And next one, you probably forget our anniversary too. Now you have to take me out to dinner twice. You must have wanted to break up with me. You ought to buy me flowers. I know you've been busy lately. It just slipped your mind. Okay. So what should be the answer for the first one? Assumption. So anybody? Can you guess? Number one is assumption is letter F. You can say you must have wanted to break up with me. Okay, you try to give I don't want to say conclusion, but it's somewhere right there. Okay, so number one F, criticism. Number two, letter C. Okay, you can be so inconsiderate to criticize something, okay, or somebody. Three, a demand. Letter E, now you have to take me out to dinner twice. That is a demand. Okay. An excuse. Number four goes to letter H. I know you've been busy lately. Okay. It just slipped your mind. All right. And then number five, prediction, is letter D. You probably forget our anniversary too. Okay, prediction. You will probably forget. See that? Six, suggestions. Letter G. You ought to buy me flowers. Ought to suggestion. Suspicions. Number seven. Letter B. I bet you were out with another woman. And warning. Letter A. The last one. Right? So if you do it again, something serious, you will have to find a new girlfriend. All right, just like strengthening or warning, right? So that is the reason you have to be careful. Okay. And yeah, so these are the popular words for your exam as well, everybody. So make sure that you don't miss any meaning. Try to remember all of them, okay, as many as you can, because it's gonna help you a lot for your exam. All right. um, so okay, so that's it for this activity, but I'd like to explain this. Maybe I forget to explain this one. Let me check the other. If I forget to explain the other words that I haven't done. Okay, break up, you know that. Take me out, just like going out. Okay, so only one phrase, slip your mind. So when you say slip your mind, it's just like you forget something, all right? You forget doing something. That's it, okay? Sometimes you work so hard, you're so busy. Sometimes you can take a look at the meaning right here and you can guess for its meaning, okay? All right, so let's go to next activity, number 11, so you can listen and find out the answers by yourself. Number 12, discussion. I'm not going to do it. Number 13, no, reading the last one. So the blue lights of Silver Cliff. So in this activity, what you are going to do is to read this, all right, article about the blue lights of Silver Cliff and answer to the question in part A and part B, all right? So if you take a look at the picture right here, it's something like, you know, gold miner. Okay, so these people would try to look for some kind of gold, a diamond or something, all right? And they happen to see some kind of light, a very scary light, just an example, all right? So I would like you to go through this reading and then try to answer to the question in part A and part B. And don't worry, I will give you the answer for this activity, okay? So I think that's it for today, but before I leave, I would like to wrap up the grammar point that we just learned. So past modals, force judgment, and suggestion. So this is about the giving suggestion. So we should have is like giving someone suggestion, and this one is about giving the ideas. You can say you could. When you use I, it's like you yourself putting, you know, or try to go into someone's situation in order to give the ideas by using I would, okay? And if you happen to see you would, it is wrong, it can't be, all right? So because the person who say that is the person who try to put him or herself into someone's situation, all right, in order to give the alternative ideas or opinion, all right? Okay, so once again, leave me question if you are not sure about this, and I can explain you more details in our Telegram group chat. Okay, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much. Goodbye.